getting wasted with math. You solve an integral correctly, your friend has to drink. Adult version of calculus.
He loves teaching, alright?
I love teaching.
Hi everybody, so today I'm really happy to introduce you guys to one of my good friends back in Berkeley. And right now, Peyam, he is assistant professor at UCI. Thank you so much, Peyam, for being on my channel.
What a pleasure.
He just got his PhD last year in Berkeley, the class of 2016. Right, yeah, and then he spent 1 year at Williams College, and right now he's at UCI.
My name is Dr. Peyam, and it's amazing because I like math, like pie, and I like food, pie. And so a little bit about me, so I grew up in Vienna, where I went to a French school, and I did that, I was in Vienna 15 years, and then I moved to New York for 3 years, where I finished high school. And then I went to Berkeley for 10 years, where I did my undergrad and my grad school there. The very first class I took was Math 55 with Steve.
Discrete mathematics.
Yes.
Yeah. First of all, you guys should definitely watch the videos. Peyam was really generous to lecture some of his favorite math questions for us. Also, Peyam won the Best GSI, meaning Graduate Student Instructor Award at UC Berkeley in 2016. So apparently you know that he loves teaching, alright?
I love teaching, oh my god.
Tell us why.
Huh?
Tell us why.
I don't know, it's just like, I have this excitement and then just seeing just seeing the sparkle in the students' eyes when they get it, I'm like, yeah! And the students are like, yeah!
What's your favorite class to teach?
Oh, linear algebra and
Linear algebra? I thought it's calculus 1.
No, I'm sorry! Calculus 1 is my second favorite.
Really? So it's linear algebra?
Yeah. No, like linear algebra and differential equations, and the reason is, you start by doing like linear algebra, which is a little bit abstract, but extremely clean. Like maybe the cleanest proofs you find in math is in linear algebra. And then what happens is you take those ideas in the second part of the course, you apply them to solve ridiculously hard differential equations. Like the systems of differential equations video I posted. But I love calculus 1. The first class I ever taught was Calculus 1, okay? And
at UC Berkeley, right?
Yes,
yeah.
at UC Berkeley. And oh my god, okay, here's the experience. It was such a nervous wreck. I still remember the first time I sat, for the class, and that was like before the first lecture. So like all the stress was on me. And I still remember like sitting next to a student like before the first hour, and then we're sitting outside, and I was telling you, man, I'm so nervous. And it was so funny because that student thought I was a student as well. And then there's just the look on his eyes when he found out that I was the instructor, telling him I was nervous. But
my students thought I was a student as well. What are the advice? What are the most important things that everybody who's taking Calculus 1 should know?
Okay, so I have this funny analogy I read in a math book once, and they were saying, there's Carnegie Hall that's in New York, and then there's some tourists ask someone, like, how do you get into Carnegie Hall? And the person was practice. And I think that's my best advice. Just practice. Especially, you're so lucky because in those calculus textbooks, you literally have hundreds of problems. So you should just have a math fest with your friends, like Friday night, getting wasted with math, just doing this calculus problem. And I don't know, I invented this game where like whenever you solve an integral correctly, your friend has to drink. Whenever you solve it correctly, incorrectly, you have to drink. I mean, no, none of my students try that out, but it seems like a fun game to play.
That's it. Yeah, seriously, just practice. Just like if you want to train for a marathon, the only thing that I would recommend you guys to do is just keep running.
Yes.
That's all.
Yes.
Right, so yeah, of course, I totally agree with you on that.
Yes.
What makes calculus hard? Because I know usually there are students that, they are doing okay in pre-calc, up to pre-calc, but once they get into calculus, they feel it's different, and it's
different.
How come? What do you think?
I think it just gets way more abstract. Yeah, because
that too. Yeah.
Yeah, because like in pre-calculus it's very automatic. Like you just do this problem, this. Not to say pre-calculus isn't easy, but but then I think once you go into calculus, you have much more this abstract notation. There's this epsilon delta that turns up. There's this lots of word problems that you maybe we haven't thought of it before, and you have really have to think of the problem differently in order to apply calculus. Yeah, and then like once you do volumes, you have to you think of exactly how to position your surface so you can apply the shell method, for example.
Also the related rate questions.
Oh yeah, related rates, optimization. Yeah. If it makes you feel better, I'm having trouble with related rates as well. So yeah.
Dr. Peyam, what is your favorite topic in mathematics and why?
I love differential equations. I don't know why, but ever since I saw the first one, like y prime equals to y, it was in high school, and I was like, I knew I was gonna do differential equations.
Wow.
It's hard to explain. Yeah. But I mean, what I really like, it's interesting because it's usually a very applied thing, like, you measure the position of an atom, whatever. But I love it because of the pure math aspect of it. Because it seems, I don't know, it seems for me math is either too pure or too applied. Like when you do algebra, it's just so much abstract nonsense. That it doesn't make sense for me after a while. But I feel what I like about differential equations, it's very difficult, but at every point you can just step out and be like, this is a function. It's not a scary thing. You know what a derivative is, you know what those terms mean.
Is that your research area?
Yes. I'm studying partial differential equations, which is the multivariable calculus analog of a differential equation. Well, you can model more things, with 3D than you can with 1D.
Wow. Yeah, okay. What's your favorite derivative equation?
I call it the Mona e to the x Lisa.
How many e's are there?
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6.
Okay.
Now, using the chain rule, you have this. You first differentiate the outside e to the x. So e to the 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 x. Then you differentiate this part. You get e to the 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 x. You differentiate this part, e to the e to the e to the e to the x. You differentiate this. You see the pattern now? E to the e to the x, e to the e to the x, e to the
Wow.
Look how pretty it is!
It reminds me of Pascal's triangle, but much cooler. Yeah.
E to the x triangle.
E to the x triangle. There we go. How about your favorite integral question?
Okay. I don't know why. One day I was like, okay, I wonder what the antiderivative of 1 over ln of x is. Dx. And my high school math teacher smiled. He was like, oh, good question. Try to figure it out. It took me 6 months and like maybe 10 full notebooks of this thing. Like those crazy scientists, I was a crazy mathematician trying to figure this out. Lots of substitutions, integrations by parts, etc. And then after a while I was like, okay, well, it's been 6 months. Maybe I should just look up the answer. Apparently the integral doesn't exist. And I asked my math teacher, I was like, why did you ask me this? And I was like, oh, well, to see how far you would get.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's kind of mean, to be honest, for the teacher, right?
I think the moral is sometimes, especially in math, sometimes it's okay to give up.
It's actually important to know some of the questions just not doable in the first place, right? So just don't spend the time
knowing
with
your limits, I guess.
Exactly, knowing your limits.